From the Cronkite studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
Coming up on Cronkite News, we take you to the mosque vigil held at a local Islamic community center honoring the New Zealand victims.
People who are homeless with pets have a harder time finding temporary housing, but for the first time, government officials are looking at resources for these furry family members.
Plus, find out about the man who calls himself the speed painter at ISM Raceway.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Anthony Totri.
And I'm Marcella Bayedo. Thank you for joining us. Immigration officials continue to drop off migrants at a Phoenix Greyhound bus station and churches across the valley.
Cronkite News reporter Walter Panate visited a church in Tolleson where they want to continue to help, but it isn't easy.
These migrants spend about a day or two in the church while arrangements are made for them. With the increase of families being dropped off, the amount of supplies that people are donating just isn't enough.
It's a crisis. It's a crisis. We need help. I mean, we do this with all of our heart.
It's been a labor of love and faith for Pastor Raul Salgado as Revolution Church in Tolleson continues to open its doors to the steady stream of migrant families dropped off by immigration and custom enforcement officials. But the desire to help has come at a cost.
It looks like it's just getting bigger and bigger. The numbers when we started back in November, December, we started off with 50 a day. Now we're up to like 100 a day, so they've just been going up higher and higher.
These migrant families are being dropped off by ICE after they've petitioned for asylum and been processed. ICE has been releasing waves of them since late last year, arguing they simply do not have enough facilities to house them. One of them, Ismael Dominguez, crossed into the U.S. coming from Guatemala.
In Mexico, immigration stopped us, and they took our money. We put all our money together to be able to give to them, and they let us pass.
That's where organizations like Revolution Church step in. But the constant influx of family is stretching many of these aid groups thin.
We have to provide 3 meals. Sometimes we provide 2. People are hungry. They're hungry. They want to eat everything that you put there on the table, especially children.
Salgado says churches are struggling financially. With more families arriving, the church's monthly expenses have doubled. Other churches, he points out, haven't had any other choice but to stop helping the migrants. When churches can't host families, ICE drops them off at this Greyhound bus station near Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. The concern is that these people won't know what to do when they get left here.
They have to sleep there. They have to call the police. And these people, they don't know nothing about it. It's another system, another government system. It's another country, another language.
My goal is to work and maintain an establishment for my family.
In any way, shape, or form that we could receive some help, that would be awesome. And we could continue to not only help the people we're hosting, but help out the government, you could say that way, because it's the government who's bringing them out to us, to the churches.
Both pastors are now receiving migrant families multiple times a week. They say they hope state officials will soon step in to help with what they call a crisis. In the broadcast center, Walter Panate, Cronkite News.
As Walter mentioned, many immigrant families are dropped off at Greyhound stations. Last week, the company stated they would no longer allow U.S. authorities to drop off immigrants inside the bus station. But over the weekend, more than 300 migrants were left at the station, according to immigration officials and advocates. ICE says between December 21st, 2018 to March 5th, agents processed more than 14,000 people who came as families for release. These immigrants do not know they are being released and can't make travel arrangements until they arrive at the station. Most of them don't have money and have to wait on a relative or advocacy group to buy their ticket. Volunteers of church organizations helping migrants are asking ICE for advance notice of when there will be a drop-off so they can be better prepared.
A man has been arrested for allegedly threatening and intimidating members of a Northwest Phoenix mosque. Police say the man was taken into custody Saturday night on suspicion of trespassing and disorderly conduct. Phoenix police say Noel Thomas Beck entered the United Islamic Center of Arizona. They said he was curious about the Muslim religion and asked to sit in on a prayer service. Beck later entered rooms he wasn't permitted to be in without invitation and asked unusual questions regarding mosque service times. When questioned by one of the mosque leaders, Beck allegedly put his finger to his neck and made a sawing motion. Authorities have ramped up surveillance around local mosques since a man opened fire Friday on 2 mosques in New Zealand, killing 50 people.
The news of New Zealand's shooting brought people from all over the valley to the Tempe Mosque on Saturday, where a vigil was held to pay tribute to the victims. Ashley Carter was there and says race, religion, or any other differences didn't matter on that night. Everyone came together to mourn and stand up for the Islamic community.
Young, old, Jewish, Christian, and many other people came to the mosque on Saturday. They offered a helping hand to the Islamic community and relayed the message that no matter the differences they may all have, everyone must come together to defeat one common enemy: hate.
We are facing the same hatred, the same threat, the same terror. We can only get out of this together.
Every seat was filled at the Islamic Community Center in Tempe Saturday, where community members and leaders offered support to the Islamic community following the shootings in Christchurch, New Zealand.
There was tons of voicemails, phone calls, messages. We have received flowers, candies, all kinds of things here at the office, and so just the community has really come together, and so it's just a heartwarming feeling for sure.
It's so much love. Even like when I came here, I was telling her I got goosebumps just by looking at people from all faiths from like different ages, colors, and everything like that. It just makes me feel so happy that people are here to support us, and we'll be there. Yeah, and we'll be there to support you for your time of need.
Leaders also called the community to action to continue to come together and fight against the hateful acts that hit many communities.
Not only is violence hitting our schools, it's hitting the streets, and it's hitting mosques and churches, and at this point violence is hitting everyone in the community, and so it's going to motivate us to push harder.
We know that hatred is here in America, and we got to stand against it. We can't tolerate it whenever it rears its head, whether it's against our Muslim brothers and sisters or our Jewish brothers and sisters, our LGBTQ brothers and sisters, and definitely with our African American and Latino brothers and sisters.
When asked what message the Islamic community wanted to relay, they said they wanted people to understand they are a religion that promotes peace and not the terrorist stereotype they are often plagued with.
If anything, we're just like you, and we're always going to be here to be there for you guys when you guys need it, and we just want to be a family.
Sabah says the vigil was just the first step towards bringing change, and the mourning will only last for a while. The first Muslim Day at the Capitol is scheduled for March 28th. The Islamic community says it will continue to bring communities together and get them more civically engaged. Ashley Carter, Cronkite News.
For the very first time, the Maricopa County point-in-time count included not only homeless individuals, but their pets as well.
Sammy Gieber spoke to the Maricopa County Association of Governments as to why they made the change.
I'm sure they'll like it. You are welcome. Take care. Good to see you.
Cheryl King Wade makes it her full-time responsibility in her retirement to help homeless individuals and their pets.
Now we are going down to the CAS area, Central Arizona Shelter Services. We just see a little dog named Sammy who hasn't been feeling well.
Oh boy. Me and Sammy, we owe her our life. I had him since he was just a football. He was like big. He saved my life. Me and him been homeless. We've been all the way around with each other. We can't do it without each other.
Wade met Dina Figueroa when she needed help with her dog. Figueroa couldn't get into a shelter without the proper vaccinations for Sammy, so Wade stepped in.
Sammy went ahead to get his shots and would still be homeless. So I really did appreciate everything you're doing for us.
You are very welcome.
And Figueroa is not the only one who has issues finding shelter with a pet.
Most homeless shelters do not allow pets. So it's really a challenge for people who are trying to seek shelter and, their pets aren't welcome.
Vanessa Cornwall and the pet rescue she works for, Lost Our Home, helps people by taking their pet for a while or offering up food and other supplies. And especially in Arizona, having a pet with you on the street can be tough.
That's a big challenge because obviously, if it's too hot for people to be outside, it's definitely too hot for your pets.
She wanted to find out more about what these owners needed, so she participated in the first Maricopa County point-in-time homeless count that surveyed pets as well as their owners.
Come here.
That's when she found Rhodey.
And just how malnutritioned he looks. And, that was really a result of the valley fever.
Rhodey is doing a whole lot better, but before, his owner was struggling to get the resources she needed to take care of him.
I give the food from my plate to my dog before I eat. There's nights I will go hungry just to make sure my dogs eat.
And that struggle, well, that's why Maricopa County point-in-time homeless count added survey questions this year.
We've learned that there could be potential challenges to folks obtaining housing and or supportive services. And we've heard about the increasing number of pets on the street experiencing homelessness with their humans. So we wanted to start asking that question.
Everyone deserves someone, and for a lot of people, that someone is their dog.
Wade will take dogs to the vet, get them fixed, and provide as many resources as she can from the back of her van.
You're the best. Thank you. Y'all, I'm an ugly crier. We've been over this.
But she can't get to everyone, and the new change to the survey hopes to shed some light on the issues that these pet owners face.
You want this?
In Phoenix, Sammy Giebers, Cronkite News.
Preliminary numbers from the survey showed more than 100 pets were homeless with their owners.
Shantae Smith says the survey isn't meant as a population estimate, but more of a snapshot of the resources needed for these individuals. Up next on Cronkite News.
4 people have been arrested for skimming at ATMs in Sacramento, California.
Police believe a ring is being operated around the U.S. and here in Arizona. We'll tell you how they do it next.
Plus, art, music, and protests. See how students rallied together in Washington, D.C. to bring awareness to climate change.
I'm Judy Woodruff, anchor and managing editor of the PBS NewsHour. The journalists of tomorrow face a fast-changing media landscape, but quality news remains vitally important to our communities, our country, and our world. At ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication, students learn solid, reliable reporting, holding the powerful accountable, and rebuilding the public's trust. The Cronkite School and Arizona PBS, preparing the next generation for a stronger future of journalism.
With wildfires, a scarcity of water, and other environmental issues facing the Earth today, it's critical to stay up to date with local impacts of a changing climate. That's why we created Elemental, Covering Sustainability, a multimedia collaboration between public television and radio stations. From climate change to water conservation to renewable energy and much more, Elemental covers the latest in sustainability news. Find our stories on our website, elementalreports.com.
Tiny cameras and credit card skimmers, tools used by a sophisticated crime ring to capture personal information at ATMs. Police in California made 4 arrests in Sacramento, finding skimming devices, recording equipment, and credit cards. And they believe the ring operated in California, Nevada, Washington State, and here in Arizona. The Sacramento Sheriff's Office says the suspects used skimming devices and pinhole cameras to capture credit card data and personal identification numbers.
Circle K gas station says some of its gas stations have run out of fuel. The company sent out a statement saying, due to unforeseen circumstances, some of our Circle K sites in Arizona have run out of fuel. Circle K is working hard to get its fuel supply back to full capacity as soon as possible. We apologize for any inconvenience to our customers and thank them for their patience. End quote. The company did not say when fuel would return or how many stations were affected.
Across the country, students headed to state capitals and the U.S. Capitol to demand action to combat climate change. Cronkite News reporter Love Junius attended the Washington, D.C. rally and explains what these young activists want.
What do we want? Climate action! When do we want it? Now!
Maddie Fernandez came from Minnesota to Washington, D.C. on Friday with a message.
I'm here and along with a lot of other young people because politicians are not doing what's necessary to address the climate crisis, and because marginalized and frontline communities are being most impacted by climate change and are not even contributing to the fossil fuel emissions.
It was a message that was being delivered at student rallies across the country. Basis High School junior Aditi Narayanan said she was going to the rally at the state capitol because she is already seeing the impact of climate change in the valley.
I've been to South Phoenix a lot, and the industrial production there really affects people with the pollution and the heat. We've had extreme heat there, and they don't plant enough trees there, and this is mostly a low-income community. So I've noticed the effects of climate change on so many communities like that.
The students tried to make their points with chanting,
"Ho ho! Fossil fuels have got to go!"
singing,
We're standing for our futures,
and art. These advocates say they are the only generation who can help put an end to climate change.
If we want to see change, if we want to have a future, we have to make it ourselves.
In Washington, Love Junius, Cronkite News.
On Sunday, the ASU's men's basketball team and fans got some good news continuing forward in the season.
Arizona State was among the last 4 picked in the NCAA tournament. We'll have more on the team's reaction coming up next.
Take a look at that sunshine right now in Phoenix, 83 degrees, and that warm weather is going to continue heading into the rest of the week with some rain chances. I have that full 7-day forecast coming up for you, so don't move.
Stay in the know on the go. At Cronkite News, we work hard to report the facts and keep you updated, whether we're on set or on the scene.
Taking it from the studio to the field. So I'm here in South Phoenix.
In Phoenix, we're just a click away. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, or find us online at cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
If you're looking for one show that tells you what happened that day in the world of business, it's NBR.
We saw a classic shipwreck.
Nordstrom's opening stores.
Triple-digit gains.
Crude climbs.
We're there to help our audience find new investment ideas.
The market still has room to go up.
Nightly Business Report is the longest-running business television program in history.
Weeknights at 10:30 on Arizona PBS.
They had to wait for their invitation, but the ASU men's basketball team is headed to the big dance.
The Sun Devils are headed to the first 4, facing off against St. John's for a place in the main tournament.
I'm just proud that we did something that hadn't been done here in a long time, and going back-to-back tournaments, sort of winning and valuing winning and getting to the tournaments like this. So hopefully that's starting to build and develop in our program.
The team gathered at Coach Bobby Hurley's house to watch the announcement. There was some nail biting going on, but the team was given an 11th seed in the tournament. You can watch the game Wednesday at 6:10 p.m. Fans are reacting on Twitter.
You can see the excitement from team members and Coach Bobby Hurley at the moment they found out the news. Comments on the video show fans cheering Coach Hurley and the team on.
Here you see player Zylan Cheatham nervously waiting to hear if ASU made it or not. His knees were shaking, and there's visible relief when the announcement is made. One person commented, "Okay, who started cutting onions over here?"
Fans of the Devils have been plotting their brackets, showing ASU making all the way to the final game.
Now, actually, I know the Sun Devils left for Dayton, Ohio, where it's a little colder earlier today. But what's the weather going to be like around middle of the week for the fans staying here at watch parties or local bars?
Oh, they're not going to have to deal with any of the temperatures in Ohio. It's going to be a super warm week. I mean, take a look at the rest of the evening where it is going to be in those 80s until 7 o'clock today. We're going to go back into those 70s. At 10 o'clock, it's going to still be in those 70s at 71 degrees, and that warm temperature is going to hang around tomorrow across the valley. We're going to be in those 80s. Phoenix, that high tomorrow is 85 degrees. In Goodyear, 86. Over in Chandler, 85 degrees. Looking at the state, they are starting to embrace the spring-like weather. Yuma, 87 degrees for that high. Up in the northern part of the state, they're still going to be in those 50s and 60 degrees weather, but they will slowly but surely start to warm up and embrace this spring weather like the rest of the state. The rain is coming on Wednesday with that 82 degrees for that high, so you can expect a lot of humidity on your hump day. It's not going to last long on Thursday. We are going to dip back down into those lower 70s, but the sunshine is coming back heading into the weekend with that high at 73 degrees and plenty of sunshine on your Friday. This weekend, we're going to be back in those upper 70 degrees, so it's the perfect time to take out that tank top gear and cheer on your favorite team in March Madness. From the Cronkite News Weather Center, Ashley Carter.
Coming up next on Cronkite News, he calls himself the Speed Painter.
Find out all about the man behind the painted winning driver's cars at ISM Raceway.
I'm Matt Berry, ESPN Sports Center anchor and graduate of ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication. With its bachelor's and master's degrees in sports journalism, the Cronkite School is preparing the next generation of sports journalists to tell stories that matter, stories that excite, inspire, and inform. Cronkite immerses students in covering sports at all levels in one of the country's top sports markets. It's this hands-on experience under the guidance of award-winning sports media veterans that shape the top journalists of tomorrow.
It's important for us, for our own legacy, to continue to expand what PBS can offer to everybody as far as educational platforms, arts, science, nature, and then, of course, all the masterpiece stuff.
We think that our contribution will help to increase to make sure that these programs continue to exist.
We want those things to continue to go on forever.
For more information about including Arizona PBS in your future plans, visit azpbs.org/giving.
Cronkite News, weeknights at 5 on Arizona PBS.
Millions of people die every year from drinking dirty water. I would never have felt I had the ability to do something without ASU pushing me. We built filtration systems out of local materials with the people. To see those kids drink clean water for the first time, it's the most rewarding feeling that you can ever have. I went to ASU because I wanted to change the world. The thing I never would have expected is how the world would have changed me.
Cars aren't the only thing going fast at ISM Raceway. Reporter Ashley Mackey was in Avondale getting more on the man who calls himself the Speed Painter.
In NASCAR, car speeds can exceed 200 miles per hour. Here at ISM Raceway, an entire painting can be completed in 40 minutes. He calls himself the Speed Painter. Bill Patterson has been painting since he was 4 years old, but today he paints the winning cars at the track, and he does it fast.
I love painting in front of people. I love being here in this environment with the top quality racers and sponsors and the commitment to the engineers. I love being part of it.
Once the race finishes, Patterson has about 40 minutes to create an entire masterpiece of the winning driver's car. Then, after celebrating, signing autographs, and taking photos, the driver walks over to a finished work of art and signs it. And that's just what winner of the Ticket Guardian 500, Kyle Busch, did.
It's pretty cool how fast he can do that up and get it done, and the amount of detail and flow that it has, and the neatness that it looks too.
Busch says this is a tradition unique to the ISM Raceway.
There's not another track that does that. You've got the grandfather clock at Martinsville, you've got the guitars in Nashville, and other racetracks that have other things. It's certainly pretty cool and stays right here in Phoenix.
Well, he commemorates the moment, and when we're running races that we have here, those finishes are what everybody remembers. People have learned to look for Bill, see what he does, and again, his work is is just unbelievable.
Patterson has been the resident artist here at this track for over 15 years now. Now fans come out to see him as much as they come out here to see the race.
Bob Ross painted happy clouds. This man paints NASCAR, which makes everybody happy.
And that's what it's about for Patterson as well, making people feel an emotion.
The perfect compliment is when somebody says, "Oh my God, I can hear that thing coming at me." That's what I know. I've hit my mark.
All of Patterson's winning car paintings hang in the racetrack's headquarters office. In Avondale, Ashley Mackey, Cronkite News.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's coming up next.
On the next Arizona Horizon, we will look at a controversial new law that extends short-term health insurance policies in Arizona and how the Musical Instrument Museum is helping those living with Alzheimer's. It's the next Arizona Horizon.
All right, now we're back with Ashley Mackey. What's our 7-day forecast?
Yeah, so during our 7-day forecast, we're going to be in those 80s and 70s for that high on Wednesday. There is about a 40% chance of rain, so that is the day the Sun Devils play, and unfortunately, it's going to be raining out here. But fans can expect to just stay inside, find a watch party to see, and, you know, if they make it on and win on Wednesday, they can expect nothing but beautiful weather for the rest of the week. Those highs are going to be in those 70s with some sunshine. No rain for the rest of the week at all, so we can only expect a little bit on Wednesday, so it's not going to be exactly a perfect week, but near perfect, and it's going to be super beautiful outside, ready for a hike.
That's good to hear.
I don't know about you guys, but 70s midweek sounds phenomenal to me, especially after the cold spring that we've had so far.
Me too, me too.
But that's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.